right, well, this is a great honor for me to honor Leonard Goldner for his Pillar Award. I looked back and I found, and Jim Urbanek, who you may know, shared with me this obituary that was he put together in 2006. And I think most of all, what impressed upon me, what I drew from this was that, yes, he was a great teacher and a tireless surgeon, but he was really a humanitarian. And his enthusiasm was infectious, and he stimulated his trainees. And really, there's so many of his trainees that accomplished much more than they ever thought possible. He really was a complete physician. He taught how to evaluate patients through talking to them and listening to them. And he taught me that too, so I had the benefit of actually working for a very short time with Leonard Goldner myself. And he truly was a perfect clinician, right? So he never looked at a radiograph before he examined the patient. I think that's a good lesson to maintain even in this day. And there are a few Goldnerisms I'd like to share with you, and a few things he was quoted as saying. When communication with a patient became difficult, he said, the caregiver, you should remember that the patient is the one who's sick and it's not you. And then he was very meticulous in his physical exam, so he shared that, it may be imperceptible, but I can feel it. And that's a pretty common quote from Leonard Goldner, or at least it's quoted often. In regard to his illness toward the end of his life, and this is how he lived his life, was you play the hand you were dealt. And he never really carried a pager, and I didn't work with him as intimately, but I talked to Jim Nunley about it, and he said, I never really had a very important phone call in my life. I can always be found if I'm needed. And can you just advance the slide? It won't trigger. Just push it forward if you would. Thank you. Yeah, so some impact that he's made, I think it's important, is there are many things he did, but he asked the question, this is actually in the Foot and Ankle Journal, is just why another journal, right? It's just, he just said the Foot Society has matured sufficiently to warrant another autonomous, like its own publication. And he said, it'll be a success, and this is how he defined it. He said, you'll find yourself saying, I can hardly wait to see the next issue of Foot and Ankle. I know the journal, I know the journal will be a success at that point. So I think it's important, and certainly I'm sure Charlie and David have looked at this carefully as well. So I'm a Duke, and so a little bit of information just with regard to Duke and Leonard Goldner and the traditions he had. My partner, Ned Amendola, is there. He is the current president of the AAOS, and I'm sure he would be interested in hearing Leonard Goldner's insights, saying that the Foot Society education should be coordinated with the efforts of the AAOS Committee of the Foot. The 1980 AOFAS Annual Meeting demonstrated close cooperation between the AAOS and the Foot Society, so still important. Maybe we can talk about it some more, but it's still important to this day. But these are some of the guidelines that Leonard Goldner put out there. And then Charlie, who'll be our guest, our Leonard Goldner guest lecturer next year. Again, Leonard Goldner expressed you need an independent foot and ankle journal for this society, and you can recognize Cesar there. This is just one more day in clinic. It's just a few days ago I took this picture. I think Leonard Goldner will be very proud of the teaching that continues, just like he taught so many over the years. I will add one other thing. Cesar has been pushing this very hard about the progressive collapsing foot deformity. But if you look back to 1974, Leonard Goldner published this, a progressive, he called it something different, talipes equinovalgus deformity. But Cesar, you're out there, you're pushing the envelope, but Leonard Goldner was way ahead of you, just remember. He never neglected family or friends, and he really was a humanitarian of the highest order. And I think this is what I'd like to send as the last message for you. To his friends and colleagues, it wasn't so much important that he was a president of so many organizations, but rather that he never campaigned for any of those honors. He's had so many leadership positions, and I think he might be the only one that was ever the head of the Hand Society and the Foot and Ankle Society. But he never campaigned for this. He just was a natural leader. Thank you.